YouTube darkest channels.
Sky, where the sun shines all day, every day.
I heard about 15 to 20 gunshots.
YouTube.com, and that's YOU.
Look it up. I'm good off it.
And now, our feature
Watch this after.
Hi everyone.
Age players.
This is
Oh
a
yeah, that's
YouTube
the
video
end right
that
there.
I made as a community service.
Right.
Flight.
Nick Crowley.
For some of us, it's
You a fake Nick fan?
A quickie.
I literally watched Dante react to a lot of his junk. What's the hold on. It's not Darkest Channel, is this like something else he got? Yeah, Darkest Corners. Dante reacts to all of these. I be watching these junks. Cursed imagery? Bro, chill,
easy
bro. It's
way
Nick
from
Crowley.
point A to point B. While for
Wait,
others,
hold
it's
on. Wait. Cause you so in love with Mandela Catalog. Have you ever seen Local 58? I ain't gonna lie. Y'all can say what y'all want. My coworker put me on. My coworker put me on. Local 58 was the first Mandela Catalog. I didn't know this. Look, I watched the whole vid on this junk. Local 58 is crazy. Local 58 is crazy. It's worse than Mandela Catalog. This junk feel actually real. Alright, let's actually lock in.
an anxiety inducer, a mortal fury.
Oh, shoot!
Pull up.
This real footage?
But for 53-year-old Zahari Ahmad Shah, flying was simply his life. His passion started at the age of just 20, when Zahari would begin studying and training to become a pilot, until eventually becoming a full-time captain years down the line. He went on to log over 18,000 hours of flight time, without receiving so much as a single blemish on his record. As a pilot, his skills and work ethic were impeccable, earning him great respect among his peers. While outside of work, he was really just a normal guy. He had a flourishing family with a wife and 3 children, as he spent most of his free time either with them
That boy got
or
kids,
fishing,
bro. I couldn't
cooking,
imagine
and
having
perusing
kids.
social media, with one of his favorite sites being YouTube.
Then what you get for
Not
Christmas?
only was Zahari an
I
active
guess it got
user,
spread out,
but he
so
would
I
also
got an
post an
iPhone,
occasional video or
Apple
two
Watch.
of himself, of which very little ever stood out.
And this is how it looks like.
As at
I
the
got some-
time,
I
his
got some other
channel
junk, too.
seemed destined for obscurity. However, it wouldn't turn out this way, as in the end, it would take just a single day for his channel to become one of YouTube's darkest.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your safety, please observe the presentation of safety procedures
Man just said Sugar Daddy came in clutch. Come on, man.
on the screen at the front.
April 27th,
Yeah, shut up.
2010,
Yo, I
Zahari's
might bust out
channel
the
is
chips in case
launched,
though for
at
this
first
one. Oh.
being primarily used to
Oh,
listen to
shoot.
music, as well as watching the latest viral video that the site had to offer. And it wasn't until the start of 2013
I
that
ain't gonna
he
lie, the
would begin
catfish method
uploading
go crazy.
videos
Y'all
of his
gotta tap
own.
in.
And when I previously mentioned that very little stood out in these videos,
like it too. I
that
literally
may have
died by
actually
that
been an understatement, since they all came across
died
as
by it.
almost painfully normal. His first upload was the first of a 2-part instructional video on how to
D5,
save
tell him about the
money on your
catfish
air
method that we be
conditioning.
doing every
And
July,
in it,
man.
we see his wife occasionally jump in to help Zahari as he shares his tips on reducing the cost of electricity bills.
Now you need to push the blue line of the air. So she's gonna do it for 1 second.
The 2 videos were certainly informative, but visually there isn't much to unpack here, with the exception of one detail, as behind Zahari was what appeared to be a massive flight simulator right within his home.
Fix the leakage or fix any problem that is in the system.
It was a device that Zahari had put together himself and used both for fun and to hone his skills. And considering his line of work and what we know about him, this wasn't all that surprising, as he not only took his job very seriously, but he also just genuinely loved to fly. From there, Zahari would go on to publish 5 other videos following this same formula. Low-quality tutorials like how to properly seal your windows,
that you can do, and it's very effective.
And how to clean your air conditioning unit.
Lift up the bottom of the pipe.
None of which ever really had a chance of making him rich or famous, but that was never the point. As for Zahari, this channel really only served as a way to help others, going out of his way to make useful videos for those who could really benefit from them, and he did so only out of the goodness of his heart, as he received nothing in return. And to those who knew Zahari at the time, this was exactly the kind of man he was. A good and honest person, always wanting to provide others with a helping hand.
What's up?
Breaking news tonight.
But that was then. And today, Zahari is viewed much differently, with it all going back to one day. A day in which Zahari's life and the world itself would forever be changed.
I will now brief you on the safety procedures to be observed on this airplane.
March 8th, 2014, Captain Zahari clocks in for duty at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, with his first flight being a roughly 6-hour trip to Beijing International Airport. In the cockpit alongside him would be 27-year-old Farik Abdul Hamid, a first officer partaking in his final training flight before facing examination to become an official captain. Together, the pair was well-versed and well-equipped, as Zahari himself had made this trip countless times before. And by 12:42 a.m., the massive Boeing 777, its 12 crew
members, my junk spazzed out. That junk scared me.
And 227 passengers would take to the sky en route to yet another routine trip to Beijing. Little did the passengers know at the time, but from the moment that flight left the ground, their fate was forever sealed, as they now had a front row seat to one of the most shocking aviation events in human history.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing. At this hour, a desperate search is underway for MH Flight 370.
That day, Malaysia Flight 370 would lose radar signal not even an hour into its course, and essentially vanish into thin air, with its final destination into its course. Malaysia Flight 370 would lose radar signal.
I think I heard about this. Malaysia 370. Yeah. I heard about this one. This one is crazy. I heard about this one. Yeah, I did. Yo, don't play with me. Yes, I did. Wasn't it on Netflix? It was on Netflix, right? Yeah, the plane that disappeared in Malaysia. Yeah, I heard about. I seen this. This junk was crazy. But this a whole nother perspective. I didn't know bro was a YouTuber in junk.
Not even an hour into its course, and essentially vanish into thin air, with its final destination still being unknown to this day. And right at the very center of this mysterious event was its captain, Zahari Shah. What exactly happened on that fateful flight is and will likely always remain a mystery, but in recent years there has been at least a vague outline of events constructed that seem to point to one disturbing conclusion.
With my girl,
at approximately 1:19 a.m., Captain Zahari would make contact with air traffic
I'll call her right now.
As his plane was leaving Malaysian airspace and heading into Vietnamese airspace.
Malaysian 370, contact search.
Don't tempt me, bro. I'll call my girl right now. D5, tell me to call my girl right now. I'll
would
call
never
her.
contact the team in Vietnam.
I'll call her,
and
big
instead,
bro.
the transponder within the plane that essentially acts as a tracking device for officials on the ground would be manually turned off just 2 minutes after Zahari's final message. With this, the plane had essentially become invisible to the world below, with the exception of a far less reliable tracker built within the plane that couldn't be manually shut down. The device works by sending out a ping with the plane's coordinates once every hour, which, when analyzed, showed investigators that rather than heading towards Beijing, the plane had instead done a complete 180 immediately following Zahari's final transmission, and was actually heading in the direction of Australia before the signal was lost for good somewhere over the Indian Ocean. This information would only grow more concerning, as in 2015, small pieces of the craft began washing ashore in various locations, some of which showing damage consistent with a plane that had struck water at high speeds. Taking all this into consideration, it does seem likely that the plane had ultimately crashed into the Indian Ocean, with the larger parts of the craft likely having sunk to the bottom around the location of that final ping.
With deep sadness that I must inform you, flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean.
And with the depths in that area reaching over 3 miles deep, it's very likely that these parts may never be found. But though this seems like a logical conclusion, this theory fails to provide an explanation as to how the plane got so far off course, as no navigational or electrical failure could have ever accounted for the bizarre movement of the flight, which is where Captain Zahari comes into play. For starters, that transponder was turned off immediately after he had given that final message, which was then followed by the plane turning 180 degrees and heading in the complete opposite direction, ultimately to its demise. Both of these actions are extremely noteworthy, as they were not only undoubtedly deliberate, but they also could have only been done from inside the cockpit, a place in which only Zahari and Farik had access to, immediately making the two pilots the primary suspects, with Zahari quickly emerging as suspect number one. According to those close to Zahari, his mental health had seemingly been on the decline for months, and potentially even years leading up to the event, and according to his own daughter, her father had become quote-unquote unrecognizable, with others adding that he was in no mental shape to be flying. Along with this, Zahari had seemingly been having struggles with his marriage, as he had been caught on numerous occasions flirting with other women over social media.
Wait, he's still alive? See, this, bro, I'm not locked in.
Adding in the or
hold on, let me
with the depths in that area reaching over 3 miles deep, it's very likely that these parts may never be found. But though this seems like a logical conclusion, this theory fails to provide an explanation as to how the plane got so far off course, as no navigational or electrical failure could have ever accounted for the bizarre movement of the flight, which is where Captain Zahari comes into play. For starters, that transponder was turned off immediately after he had given that final message, which was then followed by the plane turning 180 degrees and heading in the complete opposite direction, ultimately to its demise. Both of these actions are extremely noteworthy, as they were not only undoubtedly deliberate, but they also could have only been done from inside the cockpit, a place in which only Zahari and Farik had access to, immediately making the two pilots the primary suspects, with Zahari quickly emerging as suspect number one. According to those close to Zahari, his mental health had seemingly been on the decline for months, and potentially even years leading up to the event, and according to his own daughter, her father had become quote-unquote unrecognizable, with others adding that he was in no mental shape to be flying. Along with this, Zahari had seemingly been having struggles with his marriage, as he had been caught on numerous occasions flirting with other women over social media, causing a rift that you would never sense by watching his videos.
And Nur Hayati here, my helper.
And on the subject of these videos, one of the most damning pieces of evidence used against Zahari had actually made an appearance in his very first upload. Upon investigators searching Zahari's home for clues, they would analyze the flight simulator seen in the background of this video, where they discovered a disturbing clue, Within the data of the flight simulator, it was found that Zahari had charted a course and practiced flying a route that matched nearly identically to the one Flight 370 was said to have taken that fateful day. And given just how obscure that route was, investigators believed that this couldn't have been a coincidence. As to make matters even stranger, Zahari had actually tried to scrub the data from the device just 1 month before that fateful flight.
Some data has been deleted from the simulator, and forensic work to retrieve this data is ongoing.
Taking all of this into consideration, the narrative was quickly formed that Captain Zahari had premeditated this entire disaster as some sort of murder-suicide mission, with this now becoming the most widely believed and currently most likely theory to explain the mystery of Flight 370. Though it is important to remember that this is just that, a theory, and it is in no way a concrete conclusion. However, if this were to be true, that would make Zahari Ahmad Shah the most prolific killer in YouTube's history, by a huge margin, as he would have been responsible for the deaths of over 238 people, with his channel potentially featuring the very device that this whole event was plotted on.
Thank you for your attention. Do enjoy our golden service.
That's tragic.
Do you want to hear something truly horrifying? 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss.
Yo, Nick Crowley, you got it.
Yes.
All about America.
All
about America.
All about America. America is a pretty amazing place.
October 2nd, 2010. A bizarre 7-minute video titled America, Your Last Memory in a Terrorist Country is posted to YouTube depicting a masked man in a robe setting fire to the American flag.
What?
The video is accompanied by a rambling description stating, "I want you to imagine a comet or meteoroid coming through the atmosphere. On the other hand, welcome yourself to the desert. Maybe your ability to protest is from the brainwashing of the current government structure." This incoherent writing and strange video would be the only content featured on a channel called Star Hitchnaz, but it would be far from the only upload that its creator would make to the platform in general.
That boy got 220.
The man's real name is Jared Lautner, and over the course of 2010, he would use YouTube as a way of critiquing society in the United States, with most, if not all of his videos coming across as extremely disjointed and showing clear indications that Jared himself was completely delusional. However, he wasn't always this way. As growing up, he lived a fairly normal life in Tucson.
Normal, bro. This is excellent. Look at the houses he
wasn't always this way.
This normal?
As growing up,
bro, this looked like Team 10 back in 2016, yeah.
He lived a fairly normal life in Tucson, Arizona, becoming a decent student and even a talented musician. And it wasn't until high school that things would really take a turn for the worst, when his then girlfriend, a young lady named Kelsey Hawkins, would unexpectedly end their relationship. Something that Jared would never recover from. As immediately following this, he would fall into a deep depression before eventually turning to drugs and alcohol to cope. With this, his once kind and caring personality would become bitter and defiant as he began lashing out against his teachers and bosses, something that first led to Jared losing his job at Quiznos and his position at a local animal shelter. With this trend continuing on into 2006, when Jared would leave high school and never return, instead becoming a social recluse within his parents' home. There, Jared's only interaction with the outside world would come in the form of conspiracy forums.
Bro, y'all can't go down this path, bro. Y'all need someone to talk to, bro. Please talk to somebody, bro.
And blogs, as Jared not only became more and more detached from the world around him, but he also became more and more angry at it as well, with a specific hatred developing for the government. an idea that was only amplified on the date of August 25th, 2007.
And today, a chance to bring those kinds of concerns straight to Representative Gabrielle Giffords as she brought Congress to the corner of Grant and Craycroft.
That day, Jared would attend an event in the Tucson area held by the then Arizona Senator Gabrielle Giffords, where local citizens could ask questions or raise concerns directly to the senator herself. And on that day, Jared would be given a chance to speak briefly with her, which he'd take advantage of by asking the question, what is government if words have no meaning? It's unknown exactly how Senator Giffords responded to this, but according to Jared, he felt as though she had brushed aside his question and essentially ignored it altogether by moving right on to the next person, clearly not taking Jared seriously, which was said to have infuriated him, as his hatred for the government that had been brewing for some time had become even more justified in his mind. And things were about to get much worse, as after the event, Jared would receive a letter from Senator Giffords' team thanking him for attending the function, only to have his last name misspelled on the document. For Jared, the whole ordeal with this senator was too much for him to bear, as he believed that the government was run by incompetent and illiterate people who were nowhere near his intelligence level, with the misspelled name becoming a fixation of his, as he slowly began to believe that he was the only literate person left throughout the world. With this going on to inspire the content he'd create here on YouTube.
I said lock in.
The video created by Jared showing him burning an American flag features a pretty self-explanatory message on how he felt about America as a whole. But this clip was far from his most scathing upload, with that having come just a few weeks prior.
I'm in a terrible place. This is my genocide school.
At the time, Jared had been attending Pima Community College, a school featuring a program designed to help high school dropouts get their lives back on track and eventually actually obtain a college degree, which in theory sounded like a great thing for Jared, though in reality, its results only proved to sink him further. During his time at Pima, police would be called to his classes on 5 separate occasions when Jared would protest, argue with, and defy his teachers, as he had major problems with any and all authority figures in his life. After all, he believed that he was by far the most intelligent person on the planet, and feeling wronged and frustrated with his schooling, his feelings would all spill out in one video posted to a now deleted channel, showing Jared behind the camera touring his campus.
This is Pima Community College. The students are so illiterate that it affects their daily lives. They're controlling the grammar. They control the grammar. How's it going? Good. Thanks for the beat. I'm pissed off. What's that? I lost my freedom of speech to that guy. All the teachers that you have are being paid illegally and have a legal authority over the Constitution of the United
States. Yo, there was a dude in my high school like this. I'm not gonna leak his name, but just know I'm gonna keep it a whole, because bro, I'm being so genuine. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful to this dude, because I don't know. There was a dude that was just like this in high school. No cap. He was about 6'4", probably 290. Probably 30% muscle. I ain't gonna lie, he had like some flab on him. He had a lot of flab. Alright, look. Y'all know how white people be having that cut? It's like, it's a sky top, but it's so like they gotta flick it to the side so that it's only covering this right here. Oh, Erica, thank God you here. Yo, listen, I'm about to text Erica so she know who I'm talking about. Listen, I'm about to listen. Hold on. I don't even know her. What's it called? Oh yeah, that's GG's. I don't even know her. Hey. Anyways. Oh, wait, let me see. Hold on, let me see. I'm about to text you his name, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. He was there like freshman, sophomore year. Let me tell you something. Yeah, so he was big. And yo, I ain't gonna lie. He smelled like I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. No cap. He smelled like, I can't even describe it. Like, you know, he smelled like how Too Slimy Music sound. That's how he smelled. That's how he smelled. I ain't gonna lie. He smelled like how Too Slimy Music sound. So Rainbow oh yeah, we're trolling. Nah, all seriousness, he did smell like bad music. Genuinely, he smelled like bad music, and he was high key like this. I'm not gonna lie. So it says a lot about this character.
States under the First Amendment.
He says so. Rainbows and peaches.
It's not hard to understand the concern behind this video, as Jared was clearly mentally ill at the time.
If the student
smelled like rainbows, peaches, roses, all the above, bro.
The external universe, and the student is unable to locate the internal universe. Where is all my subjects? I could say something sound right now, but I don't feel like it.
And filled with so much obvious anger that could be heard seeping out of his voice. And given that no one really knew what he was capable of doing, the video would quickly be sent to school administrators, who immediately perceived it to be a threat. This led to Jared's instant removal from the school, with the option being given for him to return again if he were to receive psychiatric help. This, however, never happened, and instead, Jared would only isolate himself even further, with his internal rage reaching an all-time high, and his delusions as well.
He has no eyebrows.
All of which would be documented on his final channel called Class It Up 10. The videos here are some of the most bizarre that you'll ever see, as they feature only text writings from Jared, who discusses his problems with society, as well as his ways to fix it. In his first upload, he tells his audience that he was creating a new currency, a new letter to be added to the alphabet, and even a new number, which he believed would reject the government's authority and give him some control of the currency, the numbers, and the language of society. And his postings wouldn't stop there. He wrote about how he believed he could control every belief and every religion by being a quote-unquote mind controller, of which he offered no other context for. By this point, his words were almost impossible to fully understand, leading to his final video in which he stated, "My ambition is for informing illiterate dreamers about a new currency. In a few days, you'll know I'm concise dreaming. Thank you." These were the final words written to the Class It Up 10 YouTube channel, and the final trace of Jared left behind on YouTube, as in his mind, he was now in control of society, and all that was left to do was show the world.
In a democracy, people have the power, and in America, that means you.
In the early morning hours of January 8th, 2011, Jared checked into a motel room where he would post a photo to his MySpace page of a gun on top of a US textbook, along with a series of other lewd photographs of him in women's underwear, featuring the message, "Dear friends, please don't be mad at me. The literacy rate is below 5%. I haven't talked to one person who is literate." After this, Jared would go on to attend another political event happening within the parking lot of a nearby Safeway store, with this event being that same one that he went to years before, with it being hosted by none other than Senator Gabby Giffords, the villain in his story, and soon to be the main target of his rage.
Here it go, y'all. Here it go, y'all.
It happened in just 15 seconds. As the senator was meeting citizens one by one, Jared would promptly cut the line, pull out his pistol, and open fire at point-blank range. His first shot would strike Gabby Giffords directly in the forehead before he turned the gun on the crowd of innocent bystanders and fired at random. In total, 13 people would be struck before Jared was tackled to the ground and restrained. And of those victims, tragically, 6 would lose their lives, quite literally in the matter of a few seconds. A short yet devastating rampage. But shockingly, Gabby Giffords would not be one of these 6 victims to lose their lives, as despite being shot directly through the head, she would eventually go on to survive the ordeal and has since gone on to make an incredible recovery.
What?
Jared's multiple channels remain live and now sit dormant, in a state that will likely never be changed, as he is destined to live out the remainder of his life in prison, with those final videos serving as a brief glimpse into the mind of one of the most disturbed killers in the United States' recent history. A troubled man who, much like our next YouTuber, had their final thoughts and final delusions captured right here on YouTube. Only in the case of the Indigo Mystic, her disturbing conclusion would play out right on her channel for the whole world to see.
I'd always been the perfect mother, but you'll have a hard time keeping this mother down.
Hello, everybody. It's the Indigo Mystic. Toodaloo.
Her name is Jessica Worsham,
know,
a
like,
44-year-old mother of 2 living in Houston, Georgia. From an early age, Jessica viewed herself as different from most others in the world, believing that she possessed psychic abilities that not many could comprehend, which was ultimately the inspiration behind her YouTube channel, The Indigo Mystic, a page that aimed to open a dialogue with others like her. And from its inception back in April of 2013, her content was apparently very lighthearted, and for the most part, almost entirely positive.
What's up?
A trend that has long since ended.
Oh yeah, she went crazy.
For years, Jessica had been living as an unemployed single mother with her 2 children, and given her lack of income,
unemployed single mom. You are unemployed single mom. You know how crazy that sound? Let's go, unemployed. She's a mom.
She struggled to find permanent residency for her family. Or at least that was until the year 2019, when family friends would allow them to live rent-free in a home they were selling. They allowed Jessica and the kids to stay in the vacant home until someone would buy the property, which ultimately would wind up taking nearly 3 whole years, meaning that all that time, Jessica and her children were able to live there without paying a single dime.
Wait, what?
The situation really should have been a dream come true. Would buy the property, allowed Jessica and allow them to live stack of income. She struggled to find permanent residency for her family. Or at least that was until the year 2019, when family friends would allow them to live rent-free in a home they were selling. They allowed Jessica and the kids to stay in the vacant home until someone would buy the property, which ultimately would wind up taking nearly 3 whole years, meaning that all that time, Jessica and her children were able to live there without paying a single dime. The situation really should have been a dream come true for Jessica. Yet, when those 3 years were up, her reaction was far from grateful, as she immediately fought the decision to remove her from the home and refused to leave the premises, eventually going so far as to take these generous friends all the way to court, where unsurprisingly she would lose the case and subsequently be forced to leave the home. This situation was said to be the ultimate tipping point for Jessica's mental health, as she believed that this was all an elaborate plot against her to ruin her life, blaming the court.
Get a job! You are unemployed single mom. Alright, screw it. Cool, you want to be unemployed? That's tough. At least find like a partner that's got money at that point. Find a partner that got money so the kids can be good. You know what I'm saying? Tazzy, when you buying your first apartment, not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a whole stack with you. I'm not renting. I'm not renting. When I move out, it's gonna be my own place. That may take a little longer. I'm not renting.
And the judge specifically for making...
I ain't gonna lie. A penthouse would be tough.
Her homeless.
So what if you're 27? If it takes me... Hold on, I'm 19. 20, 21, 22, 23, 27. If it takes me 8 years to run up money for a crib, my life is over. I'm gonna keep it a whole stack. Unless inflation just spiked to where a townhome costs $10 million. If it takes me 8 whole years to run up a check for a crib, I lost in life. Because I'm not working hard enough.
Person, didn't you, Benji? You did. You used to actually have.
Dude trying to live the Quan dream.
I'm
not gonna lie, penthouse in the Big M would be tough.
God knows
about
you.
Shout out Miami, man. I miss Miami.
You're scared.
I miss
and
Miami.
And you know who I am, don't you? All your little friends and buddies know exactly who I am and what I'm about. Well, since this is just for Benjamin Green, kiss my ass.
Following this, the Indigo Mystic channel would no longer be a hub for positivity or spirituality, as Jessica would instead delete all of the channel's content, and in turn, she began obsessively uploading about the people who she believed had wronged her.
So, you want to attack me, huh? That's fine. Just get ready. And when I said karma was coming for you, I meant it.
And from that moment on, Jessica's videos would only grow more and more scathing, as little did she know, but there was yet another court battle looming in the distance. Following the initial court's ruling, Jessica and her children would begin couch surfing from place to place, living in a constant state of packing and moving, as due to the stress of the situation and her declining mental health, Jessica would begin picking fights and blowing up on those who were kind enough to take them in for free, something that would be documented on numerous occasions across the Indigo Mystic channel.
Was you getting paid on YouTube?
I promise. Oh yeah, I do.
Wait, was you getting paid on YouTube at this point? What year is this? This is like, oh, this 2019. Yeah, you was getting paid on YouTube. Guess nobody was viewing her.
Fantastic. And he's coming over. That's what woman? What am I doing?
Oh no, let's play practical basketball.
She hit me first. Stop it. Get the fuck out of here. I'm just trying to get scared.
But of these combative instances, what stood out the most was just how involved the children were, as at that time she had trained them to record all of her arguments so that she can then upload them to YouTube and act as if she were the victim. But in reality, it's not hard to see that the real victims were the children themselves.
You don't hurt Mom. I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. Where are we gonna go?
I mean, the pain in their voice and the fear they clearly had, knowing that they were being kicked out of yet another home, is heartbreaking. With this truly being...
How do you... Bro, wait, so they can't take the kids? Because at this point, look, she's an unemployed single mom. I don't even care about that woman no more. Because how do you let yourself be unemployed as a mother with nowhere to live? I don't care about that mom no more. Her life is done. I'm worried about the kids that just started their life. Can they not get taken away? Bro, can they not get taken away? Her she has no living conditions. She has nowhere to live. You can't have living conditions if you can't live, right? So it's like, is no one calling CPS, the law enforcement, about these kids? They just saying, screw it. I ain't gonna lie. It's their home, so I guess it's valid that they kicking them out because she being disrespectful. But I feel some type of way about them kicking out them kids, though. Me personally. Like, yeah, she's an unemployed single mom. I have no feelings for you. But them kids, they can't control that. No way they kicking out the kids, too.
How these kids lived on a daily basis, and others were starting to take notice. Seeing how the children were being treated and what they were living through, their biological father...
Bro, it don't matter if that don't matter. I'm not gonna let that happen. Yo, she legally cannot have those kids. She has nothing. It don't matter if it don't matter if she gonna let them do it or not. They gonna take them kids, bro. She has nothing.
Father, a man named Sean, would attempt to gain custody to provide the children with a stable living environment, as he, along with many others, believed that Jessica wasn't fit to be caring for children at the time. This wasn't only due to the instability of her housing and her seemingly aggressive behavior, but Jessica herself had clearly become mentally unwell at best, and at worst, she had become completely delusional, as she would begin posting videos claiming that she was being gang stalked.
All the stalking, all the gang stalking by my family and by these certain police factions needs to stop. I'm aware of you, honey. Don't you see me packing every time I go outside? And the more you come for me, the worse it's gonna be for you.
Along with this, she would also claim to have put hexes on the judges.
You're in regret, right? Scared, can't sleep.
Bro. See that? Discord did damage. Discord did damage to the society, bro. It's now beyond Discord. We just putting hexes on anything now.
Good night. Up all night. Maybe having ulcers. Yeah. That's right. If you only knew who I was. Hope those dreams are making you feel good. You're gonna regret ever getting yourself involved.
And her delusions would only get more and more bizarre, as at one point she even called out the judges for attempting to telepathic.
First of all, first of all, second of all, I'm not stable enough to take care of no kids. And my parents, they no. How about you take care of them kids? You ain't got nothing to do anyway. You unemployed just like her. The only difference is you got a house to live under because you live with your parents. Which I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is you got it better than her. You take care of them kids. I'm 15. You old enough. No cap. If you old enough to come in this chat and act grown, then you old enough to take care of them kids.
Go ahead, nephew. Even accusing them of performing child sacrifices behind closed doors.
I know you're watching me, and I know you're scared.
Act grown?
And
right,
you should be. Dingledorf, he's too scared.
Man.
He's too scared to even try to communicate with me telepathically, but you're scared, aren't you, Benji? What about the children? And you know what I mean. Those that you've sacrificed for your glory. Because it's really hilarious, and it's going to be even more hilarious when my plan falls into place.
By this point, Jessica was completely detached from reality,
15
and it seemed clear that she was neglecting the needs of her children, which would all come to a head on September 14th, 2021. That day, Jessica had been summoned into court for a hearing to determine the custody of her two children, something that she would discuss briefly in a video posted just hours before her arrival.
I'm actually going to court today against some people that are trying to take my children from me. The same people that took my home from me. the Jackson County court system. I really do feel more sorry for them and what's going to happen to them than me and my children, because my children aren't going anywhere. But anyway, if you don't see a video pop up in the next couple days, I probably got arrested, because I'm not going to back down.
And upon arriving at court that day, Jessica would have her children film yet another one of her arguments, as she would refuse to enter the courtroom.
My name is the Indigo Mystic. I'm sorry, Jessica Worsham. You guys have already taken our home from us, and you denied us help when we were being attacked several times. They refused to go inside. So if you could just relay that information for me, I would greatly appreciate it. We stand in solidarity as sovereign individuals, and we're not going to tolerate this injustice.
I don't know where the justice in this world went in this country, but it is not here, fellas and ladies. Not here. I'm not going to have my children taken from me.
The situation ultimately only proved to the judge just how bad things were in Jessica's mind.
Who got no money?
As
Dylan
the hearing
POV.
would
What are you
ultimately
talking
take
about?
place
Hold on. See, I tapped out for 1 second because I was looking at something.
Is my children, me. the Jackson County
First of
court
all, I got
system.
swag.
I really do feel more sorry for them and what's going to happen to them than me and my children, because my children aren't going anywhere. But anyway, if you don't see a video pop up in the next couple days,
look what he said.
Probably.
You 19 with no girl. She wants a grandson already. Mind you, I'm 19.
Got arrested. Because I'm not going to back down.
And upon arriving at court that day, Jessica would
So,
have her children filmed.
Angel, I'm not gonna lie,
another
you have a
one of her
grandson at 19,
arguments,
bro,
but
you
she
got
would
it.
refuse to enter the courtroom.
You have a grandson at 19, you got it, bro.
You guys have already taken our home from us, and you denied us help when we were being attacked several times. They refused to go inside. So if you could just relay that information for me, I would greatly appreciate it. We stand in solidarity as sovereign individuals, and we're not going to tolerate this injustice.
I don't know where the justice in this world went in this country, but it is not here, fellas and ladies. Not here. I'm not going to have my children taken from me.
The situation ultimately only proved to the judge just how bad things were in Jessica's mind, as the hearing would ultimately take place without her present, thus resulting in Jessica losing custody of her children, though only temporarily, as it was explained that once Jessica had found permanent residency and got help for her mental health issues, then she would be allowed to have her children back, and that this was only being done to keep the children safe. Though Jessica didn't see it this way, and under no circumstances would she be willing to give up her children, as she instead decided to take matters into her own hands. And immediately following the court's decision, Jessica Worsham and her 2 children would disappear.
What?
Well, not totally. Jessica did defy the court's decision, as she would take her children and go on the run, refusing to give them up. But even though most would assume that she would lay low for a while to avoid detection, in reality, Jessica would do just about the exact opposite, as she began posting more and more videos to her channel, this time outright threatening the judges whom she blamed this whole situation on, and daring them to take her children away from her.
They're mine. Mine, 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 M-I-N-E, mine. And I'll do anything, including lay my life down for them. And if you come after me, I'm just telling you right now, it ain't gonna go down pretty. No kinds of pretty is gonna come out of anything. And that's not a threat, that's a promise.
And her hatred wasn't just amplified towards the court officials, as she would also launch a whole new tirade against Sean, the father of her children.
You'll never have our love again. You'll never, ever see them again. They hate you.
With Jessica sinking to lower and lower depths to get back at him, with one of the most disturbing examples being when she had her children call him and tell them just how much they hated him and never wanted to see him again.
Isabella, do you want to be with Sean? No. Do you love him? No. Well, how do you feel about him?
I'm disgusted.
Hi, Sean. My daughter's trying to talk. How do you feel about him?
I think you're disgusting, and that's my opinion. That's my opinion and not hers, so... I mean, seriously, though, we're disgusted. We hate you.
Yo, Taz, I appreciate
this is what you've done to your family.
We really hate you, so
Love you,
why don't you
Taz.
just shut the hell up?
The whole time
I gotta
her
make a
children
new
are talking,
sub goal.
Jessica continues
Next sub goal is
egging them on
50.
to say
Who
worse
trying to
and
drop
worse
9 subs
things.
for a kid?
And though obviously I can't speak on their relationship
Who got
with
9
their
subs to
father,
give out?
this is still an incredibly toxic and
Next sub
traumatic
goal
thing
50,
to
cuz.
have your children do. And things were just
got
getting
9 to give
started
out?
on the Indigo
Yeah,
Mystic
bro.
channel, as she had started to mention the fact that she had owned a gun, in which she
Shaking
nicknamed
butt in my-
Betty.
I was in there buying
Yo,
some
why you
ammo,
shaking butt in my
some,
chat?
critical defense bullets for Betty. You know, because we gotta treat her right, you know.
Which would eventually lead to this clip.
Just for any of y'all that might want to get wild, you know, this is Betty.
Oh.
All right?
Oh,
Get a
she
good
got
look.
Betty.
Any of y'all that think y'all might want to come at me, I got something waiting for you.
Things were clearly escalating,
shoot.
and were undoubtedly
Yo,
soon to
Yeezy,
reach
what's
their
good,
breaking
Yeezy?
points.
Yo,
which
Yeezy, I
leads
know
us
you got
to
9
November
gifted for the
3rd,
kid.
2021, when
Yo,
two of the
Dakari, what's
most
good, Dakari?
chaotic, bizarre, and disturbing videos I have ever seen were posted to the Indigo Mystic channel.
Alright, got a prime.
I'll get you a whip. Please stop! Oh my God, Nick. Mikey!
Hold your phone on their faces. I am. On their faces.
You need to get out of this house.
Sandra,
you need to get out of this house.
Out of it.
Mommy, call the cops and get you out of this house.
Please.
At this time, Jessica had yet again been living with another family, and that night, 2 members of that family had gotten into a verbal and physical dispute, leading to an older gentleman being pushed on the ground.
Wait, you're still in college,
but as the family was fighting, Jessica decided to interject, only escalating the situation even more, as she began screaming at the family before they all lost their patience and demanded she leave the house, with the younger man going as far as to call the police. And in a panic, the children ran upstairs in fear that they had yet again lost another home.
Yeah, you see how fast
Jessica had remained downstairs as she continued to argue with the family as they waited for the cops to arrive. And when they did, Jessica would be standing at the door to greet them, with Betty in her hand. Noticing the commotion, the children would do as they were trained and grab the camera.
Alright, hey, we might disturb some people. Alright.
Oh, please! Please stop!
Woo! Yo, last ride, I appreciate that follow. We're gonna ROS.
As Jessica suddenly begins firing, leading to an all-out shootout with over a dozen shots ringing out, each of which being painfully captured as her children record helplessly, with the remainder of the video showing their reaction, which is just too upsetting for me to show. When it was all said and done, Jessica had fatally wounded 49-year-old Deputy Lena Marshall, a mother of 3 who tragically passed on the 18th anniversary of the death of her own son.
I said they was winning Super Bowl 2026.
While on the other side,
every
Jessica
Sunday people laugh at me and call
dead
me
in the doorway.
Bro, they still got a chance, bro, right?
Since the fatal incident, the Indigo Mystic channel still remains live, though as a shell of itself, as all of its uploads have now been wiped from the site, almost as if nothing ever happened, when in reality, this channel had perhaps one of the most disturbing life cycles ever seen on YouTube, with its final video being one of the darkest to ever be uploaded. As right after the shooting, and before they even knew the fate of their mother, the children would post the video with the misspelled title reading, "My mom is dead, I think," before days later, the whole channel would be wiped. I want to give a huge shout out to my gold tier patrons and my god tier patrons: Anarcho Queer 1994, Bazoo 42, Biznacker, Bray, Karen S, Sia Nash, Daniel Binge, Donovan Aaron, Emmanuel Cadillo.
Hey, shout out to all the money brothers.